yet. We just took him into custody.
The suspect arrested in Florida this morning is Cesar Sayoc. He's been charged with 5 felony counts. That includes things like illegal mailing of explosives and threatening a former president. If convicted, he'd face up to 48 years in prison, but the danger for the public may not be over just yet.
Today's arrest doesn't mean we're all out of the woods. There may be other packages in transit now.
Just today, more suspicious packages were intercepted while en route to 3 more opponents of the U.S. president, making it a total of 14 prominent Democrats targeted so far by the bomb maker. So who is Cesar Sayoc? Lindsay Duncombe takes a closer look.
By many accounts, Cesar Sayoc was angry, lost, and determined, it seems, to do harm.
This is a law and order administration. We will not tolerate such lawlessness, especially not political violence.
Sayoc was arrested near an auto parts store where he had reportedly purchased flammable chemicals just last week. Officials tracked Sayoc through a fingerprint found on a package addressed to Democratic Congresswoman Maxine Waters. DNA evidence on other mailings also points to him. Sayoc, an amateur bodybuilder and former stripper, has a long criminal history, including arrests for drugs, fraud, and theft. In 2002, he pleaded guilty to a bomb threat charge after threatening to blow up a power company. His former boss at a Florida restaurant said he was a racist.
But more than once he told me that if he had complete autonomy, I would burn in hell with all the blacks and Jews and Hispanics and everybody else.
Sayoc had been living in this van, its windows papered with pro-Trump stickers. A Twitter account which appears to belong to Sayoc features threats against many of the Democrats targeted, including Joe Biden, calling him a piece of slime trash. Hug your wife, it says. It also appears to show Sayoc at a Trump rally. Sayoc attended Trump's rally in Melbourne, Florida last year. His sign, CNN sucks. Asked if he was aware his image was all over the suspect's van, the president answered,
I did not see my face on the van. I don't know. I heard he was a person that preferred me over others, but I did not see that.
Before today's arrest, Trump appeared to support a conspiracy theory that Democratic supporters were behind the pipe bombs, tweeting, Republicans are doing so well in early voting. Now this bomb stuff happens and the momentum greatly slows. At his rally tonight, Trump called for an end to the politics of personal destruction, then blamed the media.
The media has a major role to play, whether they want to or not.
The crowd ate it up, chanting CNN sucks, the same slogan from Sayoc's sign. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Washington.
So you just heard briefly there from the owner of the restaurant where Sayoc worked. Here's a bit more from her now. She said that because of his vehicle, he wasn't allowed to make deliveries during the day.
I hired him to drive at night. I couldn't have him driving in the daytime. I had him driving at night. He parked the van around the corner. I never got any complaints from any of the customers. If I did, he would have been fired. As far as an employee, he was on time, he was cordial, he was articulate. I never had any problems with him. There was no theft. My customers liked him, but it was just his political views that scared me. Basically, he was a model employee.
Okay, so all that talk about the pro-Trump stickers on Sayoc's van. Well, let's take a look at some of those in more detail. And keep in mind, the ones we're going to show you just come from one section of the passenger side. The van itself is covered in them. The stickers seem to say 2 things: that Sayoc worshipped President Trump and had contempt for liberal politicians as well as the media, CNN in particular. In one image, Trump rides a tank into battle beside a bald eagle that's firing a machine gun. To the left, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and filmmaker Michael Moore, all with gun sights on them. Another is titled, I Have a Dream, and appears to show liberals running as if they're being shot at. And this one seems pulled right from the 2016 presidential campaign, a swamp populated with a who's who of prominent Trump critics, apparently sinking into the slime. So clearly a lot going on in Sayoc's mind, some of it confusing, a lot of it extremely hostile. But what does it tell us? For some insight on that, I'm joined by Brian Levin, the director at the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism at California State University. Brian, thanks for helping us out. It really feels like a time of heightened political fury and violence, not just the pipe bombs, but of course that shooting at the Republican baseball practice. But does your research actually bear those feelings out?
Yes, it's a rising tide, but sometimes we have these overwhelming waves. Let me give you an example. November 2016 was the worst month for hate crime in 14 years, and the day after the election, there was a bomb plot to blow up a Muslim populated apartment complex, and that was the worst day for hate crime since 2003. So we've been seeing this go up in waves, then kind of go down a little bit, but the tide is rising, and among this most diversified threat matrix we've seen in decades, the far right here in the United States is the most ascendant.
Okay, so what makes it hard for law enforcement to get ahead of this?
That is a great question. And what we saw was this rising tide where groups were involved. And we saw that Unite the Right rally. Since then, we've seen fragmentation of both the organizations and their leadership, which means that a lot of these loose cherries, who would just be content to go to a rally or spout on the internet, might actually become operational. So these loners represent the biggest problem for law enforcement because it's hard to investigate a trail of one.
Okay, Brian Levin, thanks very much.
Thank you.